Hey guys, welcome to Four Finger Discount, a very special episode of Four Finger Discount, where this week we're going to be touching on our favourite memories of the Simpsons movie, and I'm joined right now by Chris Stanley. How are you, sir?
Dando, thank you very much for having me, mate. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show. So another Simpsons movie is coming out, 20 years in between. Can you believe it?
No, and I'm not okay with it. Like, it was my, what year did you graduate high school?
It was 2006, so it was the year after I graduated that it came out.
But you're the same as me. I'm a 06 graduate. So it was a big deal, like huge deal. And it took them long enough. But now we're at like 20 years and obviously D23's just happened. We got a bit to talk about.
We do. I remember when it first came out, it feeling like a big deal to me, but not really to my friends, because my friends had sort of stopped watching The Simpsons, but I was still known as like the Simpsons guy in my friendship group. But I feel like it was close enough to like peak Simpsons era where people still cared enough about The Simpsons. This one here, I was a bit concerned about, even like 3 or 4 years ago when they announced there's a new Simpsons movie coming out. I'm thinking, who's going to care? I mean, I'm going to care, but are people really going to care? And I thought more and more about it. And I think right now is almost the perfect time because you and I, we grew up in the 90s watching The Simpsons. It was just what everybody did. It was the show, right? We're now old enough to have grown up and had our own kids. And now our kids are being introduced to the show by us. So now there are essentially two generations of Simpsons fans, where when we were growing up, adults watched The Simpsons, but it wasn't a show for adults. It was basically the kids. It was the kids' generation show. Now we've got the adults who grew up watching the show and our kids watching the show. So there's two generations of fans. The kids are going to want to go see it, and we're going to want to go watch it with them. So I think now is a really perfect time to release another Simpsons movie.
I think, you're spot on. And I think when the first one came out, it obviously it did very, very well. And I think personally, that's the best Simpsons movie we could have got at the time.
You reckon? I wasn't I wasn't the hugest fan of it. I was remember feeling like walking out going, I enjoyed it because it was The Simpsons. But I think my expectations, I think it's my own fault. You're probably right. You probably are actually right. But me, myself, you know, when you're a massive, like a Star Wars nerd or a Simpsons nerd or whatever, and you go into these movies of what you think the movie should be, and it's not that, and automatically you think, well, it's not good. It's like, no, it's not that it's not good. It's just not what you wanted.
Yeah. But like when you care so much about a franchise, movies, characters, whatever, like obviously it just means you just care so much and you just want it to do good. But I think as well, my mates and I, because opposite of you, like me and my mates were still obsessed with The Simpsons, and when it came out, it was like this was huge for us. This was massive. So I think we went in tapering our expectations because we felt so much time had passed since they announced it. I remember Cheese TV, the fellas on Cheese TV were like, "Yep, new Simpsons movie in development." I remember reading Disney Adventures in the 90s, and they go Simpsons movie in development. So it took that long, and I feel like. I don't know if you like the incubation of when the seed was planted when they first started planning the movie. Like, was it the early 90s?
So it was 2001 when I think it was when they were having disagreements with the voice cast and they were threatening to leave because they wanted more pay or something like that. And eventually they settled that. And once they settled that, part of that negotiation was a movie. So I think it was about 2001 when they finally settled it. So Cheese TV ended about 2003. So you're right in that wheelhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think as well, like we walked out of the film and I was like, it wasn't perfect, but I didn't hate it at all. I really enjoyed it. I'm like, it could have been a train wreck, like an absolute train wreck. I think because Schwartzwelder came back, and Schwartzwelder did come back for that one, didn't he?
I think so. I know they got a lot of the original cast. I'll just look it up.
I think that's why, because they got a lot of the original writers back.
Yeah, and David Silverman directed it, and
yeah, they just knew how to do the jokes, and the jokes just always landed. If it had been like the more modern day writers, and it's not to say that. See, I haven't really caught up with brand new Simpsons at the moment, but it's had this renaissance where, like, you know, I'll listen to you and Guy, and I'm like, maybe I really should just give these new ones a crack, because you guys, especially like you say they're good, like they're not as terrible as people say they are.
But if something's not good, we'll also say that as well.
Yes.
I think because people won't trust you if you just say, no, you guys know what you're talking about. It's all good. It's like, no, that's not all good. There is good in there. There's also shit in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, like the good outweighed the bad with the first film. And I still love going back and watching it. Like a few months ago, Chloe's like, let's watch it. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't watched it in ages. And I was like laughing out loud. I'm like, this is so silly. I'm just glad it turned out the way it did. Like, it's a warts and all thing.
I remember it was about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. My kids wanted to watch it because it popped up on Disney Plus, because you know how the algorithm works. They're like, you want to watch this? And I was like, not sure if you really. And I was like, okay, sure. And they watched the Simpsons movie before they'd seen any of the show. I had not shown them the show until about a month ago. And they loved the Simpsons movie. And is there another one? I'm like, well, no, there's not another movie, but there's 800 episodes of the TV show you might like. And they're like, what? And because I showed them The Simpsons about 2 years ago. So my daughter would have been maybe just turned 4 and Elliot would have been about 6.
Mm.
And the first thing that came on was like an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. And Nicola looked at me and I was like, yeah, you're right. Probably a little bit too violent. But I'm like, that's only a small part of the show though. But still, I was like, yeah, maybe they're not quite ready for that. But now all my kids watch is The Simpsons. All they want to watch is The Simpsons. And I'm loving revisiting the show with them. But when I rewatched that Simpsons movie, you're right. I don't think I'd watched it in maybe 15 years.
Yeah,
and
wow.
I felt like it felt the same way when I was sitting in that cinema for the first time. I'd forgotten about a lot of the jokes, and I was like, "This is actually really funny." I will say though, and I've always stood by this. I feel like when they leave the dome, the movie, I wouldn't say it falls off a cliff, but it really just stagnates for me.
It feels like another film.
It was, and I felt like it didn't feel like a Simpsons movie anymore, because for me, I wanted it to be in Springfield. I wanted to feel like, a big grand event in Springfield. And once they escaped that dome, it became just another Marge and Homer marriage in crisis story, which I'd seen a million times before. Granted, that scene where she taped over the wedding tape, that was almost like one of the biggest tearjerker moments I've ever seen in a movie. So I remember everyone in the cinema going, whoa, why am I crying at a Simpsons movie? But besides that though, like when Homer has his epiphany moment and things like that, I was just like, this is just dragging. It just feels like, what is the point? This feels like first draft stuff to me.
Especially when there's the whole existential thing with Boob Lady, and
that's what I'm talking about when he has his epiphany. Yeah.
It's. I feel like was it Homer's Odyssey where he has the coyote?
No, that's The Mysterious Voyage of Homer. Homer's Odyssey is the third episode where he wants to commit suicide.
So that was another question. Have you shown Elliot and Holly season 1?
I have shown them one episode. I've seen all of season 2. I've shown them the Call of the Simpsons, because I felt the Call of the Simpsons is the most wackiest of the first season.
It is.
You can still enjoy it despite what it looks like, right?
Not when Homer ties a rock around his feet and goes to
a bridge.
Yeah, dude.
First season is dark, man.
It is very, very dark. But going back to like that the middle of the movie, it definitely feels like a whole nother movie, and the whole spiritual awakening, all that stuff. But when Marge tapes over the wedding tape, that is up there with Do It For Her.
It is.
Like you guys were talking about the other day with the sports episodes, like Lisa and Bart, Lisa on ice at the end where, they realize, they're brother and sister, but they love each other like unconditionally. Stuff like that. I think that's up there. It's that little pocket in another pocket where you're like, this feels like such a detour from, because you're right. They've left Springfield. I just wish it could have been all contained in Springfield, because to me, that's, even though it's familiar and nostalgia, that's what gives me most comfort, is because they've built this beautiful world in Springfield, and you leave that world, you're like, ooh, it's jarring.
Yeah, because I wanted to see my favorite characters on the big screen for the first time, and I got them for about half an hour. Yeah, and then I didn't. It occasionally would cut back to, meanwhile in Springfield for like for like 20 seconds, and then it's back to Homer out in the wilderness or out in Alaska or wherever it was they were, and I was just like, I know they had to try and tell an emotional story with the movie as well, but I feel like this new one doesn't need it. I don't need another Marge and Homer's marriage in crisis story. We do not need that anymore in 2026. We don't need a real... I know you've got to have some sort of emotional level to it, but do that by incorporating the entire town in some way. If you can't incorporate the town, just don't do it.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And that's the thing. How are they going to approach this now? And because is it next year or the year after it's coming out? It's
next year on my birthday.
Wow.
So it comes out September 3 in the States, but that's September 4 here, which is my birthday.
Oh, very happy birthday in that case. That's the thing. Are they going to make fun of things that are relevant today, things that are a problem today? And again, going back to what you said, I don't need to see a rehashing of Marge and Homer, Trouble in Paradise. We've been there, done that with them.
Yeah.
And and it's like the title as well when they announced it. You know, the new Simpsons movie. I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of on brand with the humor. But I said in a video I did about Doomsday, and I covered a little bit about the new Simpsons movie. I'm like, it would have been great if it was like the Simpsons movie, but she has a new hat, or like the Simpsons movie, the box. I don't know, I don't know the news, but I like how they put it as new, like it's like a flashy action figure.
Well, it's like the Malibu Stacy. Yeah, the new
Yes.
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the name, when I first heard it or saw it and read it, I thought, really? That's all the people in that writer's room, that's what you came up with? And then Nicola's like, what's the new one called? And I was like, it's called the new Simpsons movie. She's like, wait, so it's just called the new Simpsons movie? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute though. You just asked me what's the new Simpsons movie called? I'm like, that's pretty much what everyone's going to call it. Is it?
Yeah.
That's the new Simpsons movie.
Yeah.
But the problem is when they release the third Simpsons movie, what's that going to be called? What,
The third
newer
Simpsons movie.
The newest Simpsons movie?
The new.
But so I don't mind the name, the new Simpsons movie. It does feel on brand with Simpsons humor. You're right. But I think I like that you're saying with a new hat, that kind of thing. I think Simpsons fans would get it, but you got to have a title that non-fans would understand as well.
Yes.
Did you see the animatic that they released?
No, because it hasn't been officially released. It's all bootleg stuff at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty clear though.
Okay. No, I haven't. I've read a description. They're at a ball game. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we did like a reaction on our channel.
Mm.
So I'm not sure why, but it's basically at the baseball game, and whoever can catch the baseball wins some sort of money. I don't think they actually reveal which amount it is. It's just you win money. And it reminds me of the Bart skateboarding through Springfield sequence where what happens is the ball gets hit, Homer tries to catch it, Mole-Man tries to catch it, Homer tries to knock it out of his hand, and then it bounces around through the stadium, keeps getting knocked around, they're chasing after it, then it ends up going through like the Bowl-O-Rama and through Duff Gardens, and it's going all over Springfield, basically just giving you a reason to go visit everyone in Springfield trying to chase this ball, and it ends up back at the stadium again, and I won't reveal who it ends up with, but it's sort of just like a chasing a ball sequence. It goes for about 2.5 minutes. I enjoyed it, but it I don't know, it felt very much like hey, it's all your favorite friends. They're back on the big screen again. I hope though that that's not their way of saying, well, you've seen everybody. Now we're going to get to leaving Springfield and have another Simpsons family story, because that's what the first movie did. They had the Bart driving around Springfield nude. You had the mob come to the house just as an excuse to get as many characters on the screen as you can.
Yep.
And then they left and you didn't see them anymore. So I hope we don't do that again.
No, yeah, it's like I don't want to see like Simpsons in space, but also I hope they're not like blowing their wad all at once where these are all the characters and this is the last time you're going to see them. We just want to acknowledge that they're there and then that's it, to kind of entice you. I think as well, like with the first movie, one of the most tasteful things and one of the most clever things they did was the 20th Century Fox logo on Ralph coming out of the zero or the O and doing that da 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 da. And that just set the tone. I remember everyone just roaring in the cinema at my local Westfield. So much so, one of my best mates, Luke, who came with us, he worked at Greater Union there, and he had to cut the film there. They had to specially cut it when Frank comes on and the thing widens and it coincides with the film, and they had to specially cut it because that then sends the cue to the curtain to open. So Luke had to do all that, and he's like, man, he goes, we got a preview screening because the staff all had to do preview screenings, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I think just seeing Ralph come out and do that, you kind of like, oh, okay. It gave me that warm, fuzzy, like, okay, we're in for a good show. Like, go into it open mind. And like I said, I was, for the most part, the good outweighed the bad. But again, I just want to see things happen in Springfield. And I don't think that's asking too much.
No, not at all. Did you know going into it then that it was going to do the stretch out moment? Or did your friend tell you about that after the fact?
After. Yeah.
Because I remember being in the cinema and it came up as 4:3 and everyone in the cinema like panicked. They're like, wait a minute. Wait, it's like it's not widescreen? What's going on here? Because it had the Itchy and Scratchy cartoon originally. And then it stretches out and everyone was all like, oh, thank goodness. It was almost like a sigh of relief. But I do also remember at the end, as the first and only time I've ever experienced this, people, I didn't do it because I thought it was kind of corny, but more than half the cinema gave the film an applause, like a standing ovation.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever experienced that before in a local cinema?
We It's funny because I've got a lot of friends in the States, obviously with what I do, and you and Guy are probably the same. You make a lot of friends overseas, over a common interest, me horror, you guys Simpsons. And have you ever been to the movies in the States?
Once. I saw Rogue One in New York.
So Americans get very invested, vocal, loud, and, they're interacting with the film. Whereas here, we're like as quiet as church mouses. Like,
stop eating chips.
Yeah, stop living. Just stop breathing.
Yeah. I find like I'm becoming old man Dando now. I'm in the cinema and like people talking during the trailers, and I'm just thinking in my head, you motherfuckers better shut up when the movie starts.
Dude, especially horror movies. I don't know if it's the same down out your way. Horror movies as well, like teenagers. I'll see a bunch of them walk in, and I'm like, oh no, don't ruin it. And I'm like, I'm older than them. I could take them all out, but I'm also like, I don't like the looks of those teenagers.
Yeah. It's cold out here. Let's go back inside. But the thing is, I went and saw Disclosure Day with Nicola, right? And these two girls were doing handstands, making TikTok videos up the back. And I'm like, what? I was like, because they wouldn't shut up the whole time. At one point I turned and I was like, guys, seriously, we're trying to watch Disclosure Day. Okay, please shut up. It's a Spielberg film. Shut up.
Yeah.
Right? And they looked like they were about, I don't know, 15. And I'm thinking, you must have walked into the wrong cinema because there's no way at 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon that you 15-year-old girls are going, let's go see that Spielberg film. That's just not happening, right? But I think they did it so they're thinking that the film would be empty and they could film TikTok videos in a cinema. Yep. So they're at the back and they're talking blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying, guys, can you please just be quiet? I was just like, please, as polite as possible. And then they thought, well, if we move from the middle at the back to the back corner, well, they won't hear us then. So they went to the back corner and they kept talking. And then one other guy was just like, guys, shut up. And then I heard something again, heard like a boom boom. I turned around and one girl's doing a handstand with her feet up against the back wall. Another girl's filming it with her phone. And I said to Nicola, that's it. I stood up. And I've never done it before. I stood up and I was like, if you guys aren't going to watch this film, get the fuck out. And they got the fuck out. So credit to them.
How good is that? That's so good. Because usually they'll pick up a stink as well. Because like we've got like, the little biker gangs now, the e-bike biker gangs now. And like they're the new Comancheros. And they're like little turds. Like I said, you could easily take them out, but you kind of just like, I'm cold and frightened. And
they're going to film me and put it on TikTok and make fun of me.
Yeah, exactly. But like, dude, yeah. And 2:30 at a Spielberg film, they are not there to watch the movie. Again, they just wanted a space where they could do TikToks, but also, what is wrong with you?
Why are you doing this in a cinema?
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, cinema etiquette aside, so you're excited for the new Simpsons movie? Because
of course.
I'm more excited now that my kids are into it. I think. Yeah. I think my kids enjoying the Simpsons and being able to go back and revisit these classics with my kids has rejuvenated my love for the show, which sounds silly because my entire living is based around The Simpsons and doing a Simpsons podcast, but it's just really rejuvenated my excitement for the show.
Yeah, for sure. And like we were talking before we went live, my son's just over a week old, so I've still got a little bit of time before I can introduce him to it, but I'm excited. And like, I want to curate how to introduce him to certain episodes, leave out the ones that we need to wait a little bit longer just in terms of certain jokes and stuff like that. But, I want him to be a cultured Simpson connoisseur. Like, he has to experience the finer things in life. And, that's the thing. Do you start with the movie? Do you start with certain episodes? Then be like, all right, mate, they made a movie, but by the time, we get to the movie, it will have the new Simpsons movie as well. It was like, mate, we got 2 and there's a 3rd one on the way probably. Like, yeah. So I'm excited for that as well. And I can only imagine how exciting it would have been, for you introducing Elliot and Holly to it.
See, I introduced them to the show and I was sort of cherry picking episodes that I knew would be good ones to watch with them. And then one day I was like, oh, let's watch this one. They're like, no, we've watched it. I was like, what? I was like, oh, that's right. These kids live in the era of binge watching. So they get up in the morning and Elliot just whacks the TV on. And I'm like, wait a minute, you've watched all of season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 already? What? Like they've literally they've binged the entire lot. I'm like, I mean, it's good, but I wanted to watch it with you. But the one thing is, I said to them, you are not allowed to watch Who Shot Mr. Burns. I am watching that with you. And what I'm going to do with them is we're going to do a reaction video. So we're going to sit down, we're going to watch it right at part 1, and we're going to stop, and we're going to work. They're going to guess who they think it is. They're going to go through the clues. We're going to make a real thing of it, and then watch part 2 and watch their faces be confused and disappointed to find out that it was Maggie.
And then they found out it was the baby.
Because I remember at the time being like, "The fuck is this shit?"
Yeah, I didn't guess it either. I was convinced, obviously, because we were young. We just and there was just the good writing as well. We're like, oh, it was Smithers. Smithers did it 100%.
Yeah, or Homer. Yeah,
yeah, or Homer.
Obviously,
Yeah,
the picture on the thumbnail is Homer with a gun to Burns' head. So Elliot's always like, I know who did it anyway. I've already seen it. I've seen the picture. It's Homer. I don't care. I'm like, boy, are you in for some disappointment, kid?
yeah. Do you remember as well the episode where Marge and Homer do the nudie run through Springfield from the putt-putt golf and the ads leading up to that? It was the biggest thing ever. So much so, Mum and Dad were like, "You're not watching that one." I'm like, "Oh, come on."
I remember it was 9:30 on a Monday night. It was aired at adults only time, adults only Simpsons.
Mm.
And I would have been, I think it came out like 97, 98, so it would have been like 10. I'm a little horny, or not horny, I guess I was 10, but a little down thinking, might see boobies here or something,
Yeah.
And then you put it on and it's like, so that's all it is. That was all a big publicity stunt. Damn it.
My parents were more like walking conundrums. Like remember the show Sex Life?
No, I don't.
It was like they just let me watch that. And but then also I was banned from watching Batman Returns and Hook.
Why Hook?
I don't know. I think it was just all the parents at the time were like, no, Hook's pretty full on. So Mum and Dad were like, okay, well, we can't. But I was allowed to watch The Simpsons and South Park.
So I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons. I was not allowed to watch The Simpsons until I was 7 or till I was 6, I think. Yeah, 6 or 7. Well, the first new episode that aired when I was allowed to start watching it was Treehouse of Horror 6.
Mm.
So whenever that aired in Australia for the first time, that's when I was allowed to start watching The Simpsons. I've still got my tape, my VHS of when I used to record the shows off TV. And I've still got the first one I ever recorded, and it was the New Kid on the Block, where Laura Powers moves in next door, was like the old one. And then up next, all new Simpsons, and it was the Treehouse of Horror 6. That's my first ever real-time Simpsons experience. Which is why I think I have such a nostalgia for that Treehouse of Horror episode. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons. South Park, I used to sneak into my bedroom and put SBS on at like 9:30 on a Monday night and watch it quietly. I think like Mum knew I watched it. She wasn't happy about it. And then when she found out there was an episode called... No. We were going to the beach one night, Monday night. And it was when season 2 had just started. And it was the cliffhanger for Cartman's mum's a dirty slut. And you're going to find out who Cartman's... And I remember being so annoyed because we were running behind. I'm like, we've got to be back. Because it was daylight savings. So it was a bit late. We're going to be back in time for the South Park episode. And Dad's like, what is it? And I was like, it's the follow-up to Cartman's mum's a dirty slut. And Mum's like... Well, guess what? You're not watching Brendan when you get home. I'm like, no, I shouldn't have said it. And then we got back and it wasn't even the part 2. They screwed with us. It was the Terrence and Phillip, not without my anus.
Oh, I love
joke.
That. I love that episode. It's so funny.
Completely just screwed with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's funny. Like my dad, my dad loves Itchy and Scratchy and Terrence and Phillip. And like we'd quote the Terrence and Phillip one. It's just like, we're looking for treasure. Is that some sort of a metaphor or a sense that can't be described? No, we're searching for treasure.
See, I wouldn't quote it. I just did the voice.
Yeah. Relax, guy.
Yeah, relax, guy. But yeah, so when the Simpsons movie came out for you, were your friends excited for it? Like, who did you go see it with?
So I'm still best friends with my mates from the first week of high school, 2001. So like they've been my groomsmen. Yeah, and like I was mentioning Luke before. Luke now works in VFX here in Sydney, and he got to work on the Odyssey, Masters of the Universe. So like, and it's so cool because when Batman Begins came out, it was 2005. We were in year 11, and Luke and I were like Nolan nerds, and now he's worked on one. Now he's got a son as well. So it's this cool evolution. But the four of us, it was me, Pete, Luke, Brad, and our friend Arif as well. Like we were raised on Simpsons quotes. Like you asked my wife when we met on Tinder, and in my Tinder profile bio, it was, I got most of my education from The Simpsons. And it's true. Like most of my education was from The Simpsons. So it was massive for us. It was huge. And I remember we all took the day off during the week, and it was, I think it was, well, the lame quote, it's all about the journey, not the destination. I remember the journey going to Westfield, getting the popcorn, the drinks, and then you watch the movie and go through that journey. And it was awesome. And I think that probably helped with digesting the film as well and having more of a positive outlook on it.
I'm excited for the tie-in merch and stuff that comes with, like in the real sort of lead up to when the film actually comes out next year. Because last time, remember they had like the 7-Elevens became Quickie Marts. And
that's right.
They tried to have Burger King in Australia for a little while. So we had Burger Kings here and they had all the Simpsons movie toys. And I'm wondering what they're going to do next. I feel like in the last, say, maybe 2 or 3 years, they've really upped the game when it comes to Simpsons merchandise. For a long while, it was almost like Fox just didn't know what to do with it. It was just the standard, don't have a cowman t-shirts, that kind of thing. But now there's, the toys that we're getting are just like so obscure. And you're like, this is great.
Yeah, like I think you posted a couple of them. There's like the evil Krusty doll.
Yeah, I've got the King Homer down here, the Flyboy Bart, the DNA machine. There's now going to be a stretch dude, Stretch Armstrong coming out.
Yeah, see, stuff like that, man. It was very generic and by the books. But yeah, I feel like I said, that evil Krusty doll, like that whole line as well. I'm like, that's cool. Like if we had had them back in the day when we were kids, like it would have been like, and you and I spoke about this last time, the Red Rooster, their Happy Meal.
I've got it up there. Yeah.
That's right. You've got like mint condition, like the box and all that. That was huge. Like that. Yeah. I remember having them and I'm like, I've got them all on the couch. This is the coolest thing ever.
Everyone had one, if it was in a box or somewhere. Everyone's house had like at least a couple of those figurines somewhere laying around. Plus, like, remember the old the Tuller glasses?
Yeah,
like every kitchen in Australia had a couple of them.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, that's right. The long Nutella jar, and you'd wash it out, and you're like, "This is it. This is. I got this for the rest of my life."
What a time to be alive! You can't do that. They don't do that shit anymore.
No, it's like the Batman Forever glasses. Like, honey, break out the fine china.
Yeah, they're so good, man. You go to Macca's now, and the kids get like a little booklet in a Happy Meal now. I'm like, bring back the Steins.
Yeah. What is this crap?
Speaking of things that I don't want in the new film, though, also you kind of touched on it earlier, like dated references, but I don't want celeb cameos. I feel like the first one had like the Green Day theme is cool, right? And Green Day is still kind of relevant in 2026 to a particular,
And then Tom Hanks.
Like I feel like having celeb cameos really dates it. And see, the Simpsons movie, the first one came out when they were really in that look who we've got on the show this week era, where it wasn't celebs voicing characters, it was celebrities just coming onto the show. Hey, it's Britney Spears. Hey, it's Jon Stewart. Hey, it's Lady Gaga. And it was almost like they were just putting real life people into the show every single week. Yeah. I don't want them to do that in this one. I want to see if they can just generate a really compelling movie-esque story in Springfield with just the characters of Springfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. They've curated all these wonderful characters, like each end of the spectrum. And I love that it creates such good discourse because it's so subjective of like who your favorite character is. And there's just like, there's something for everyone in terms of a character that you do not necessarily relate to, but like you find comfort in, that makes you laugh. And yeah, I think letting them go by the wayside like they kind of did in the first film, where they're just like a quick cameo here and there. And like Dr. Nick gets killed, and then, Barney and Lenny, Carl, they're there, but they're not there. And then, I don't know, they kind of just come and go. Whereas I feel like if the story can be so on point, like flawless, tight, where you've got the main bunch of, obviously, The Simpsons, but also the side characters that have had so much screen time in the past, sometimes where they've had episodes dedicated to them, to not let them just feel like a cheap cameo or just one line and they're gone, just so they can be like, see, they're there. Like, no, give these characters a purpose, because they've had such big purposes in the past.
What was your thoughts on them bringing Russ Cargill into the movie as the big bad?
It was a distraction for me at first, because I'm like, well, that's Hank Scorpio. Like, what's going on here? Because as soon as you heard his voice, and I'm like, that's Hank Scorpio. What's going on here? I didn't have a problem with it. I think he did a great job. I also love, the bouncing back and forth with President Schwarzenegger and, stuff like that. That was all great. And him with Cletus as well. I didn't have a problem with it, but also at first it was a distraction because it was the same guy that voiced Scorpio.
Do you think the new one needs a villain? Does the story need a villain? I don't think it needs a villain.
I don't necessarily think it needs a villain. Like if anything, the villain can be conflict going on with some of the characters, but it doesn't necessarily need to be between Homer and Marge, because again, been there, done that. But I don't think you need I think because it was their first cinematic run, they had to have something that was cinematic and epic, and put the dome over Springfield, Russ Cargill, all that, Epa. But then you leave Springfield and all that existential stuff happens, and they got too cinematic, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel you can pull in the reins, but still have a really, really well done character-driven story. Have writers been confirmed yet for this one?
Let's have a look.
Because like if they got like Schwartzwald, can you imagine if they got Conan back as well?
Yeah, I doubt he'd do it.
Yeah.
No, there's no confirmed writers yet on the wiki page anyway.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of the original ones because a lot of the guys who did the original Simpsons movie still work on the show as like, executive producers or, consultants in some way.
Yeah.
But I know Al Jean's just going to be relaunching The Critic with Mike Reiss soon.
Like John Lovett's The Critic?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he confirmed it on our podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Is Lovett's going to come back?
Yeah, Lovitz is doing it.
Wow. Okay. I never really got into that. Did you?
Not at the time. And I've rewatched it now and I've gone, wow, this show was like made for me. Like the humor was made for me.
Yeah.
Do you know the concept of it?
Well, not really, because my introduction was the film festival episode.
And man, is there a history behind that episode? Have you ever heard the history behind that? That's for another day.
Yeah, right. Okay. No.
Mac Groening's name's not even on the credits for that episode.
Like he just doesn't want to be associated with it.
No, he thought because James L. Brooks helped produce the Critic, the original one, and he felt James L. Brooks was just, and Gene and Reese were just using The Simpsons to promote their own show. And there was big turmoil.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought it was just like, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe crossover.
And see, I didn't even think it was a crossover. At the time, I had no idea who Jay Sherman was. I just assumed he was a film critic in the world of Springfield. I didn't realize he was a character from another show or anything like that. I think the episode works in itself like that. But what was I talking about? The critic. Yeah, so the way it works is like he is a film critic, but it features almost like Family Guy-esque parodies of movies. So like, for example, they have the alien where it's getting closer to Ripley and the thing's coming out, but it kisses her on the cheek. Just things like that. So it's like it's like taking the piss out of classic movies. But it's almost like done in like a 2026 Reels era where it's all like snippets, Yeah.
Okay. It's like Family Guy cutaway gags.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, or it's him saying, and here's the latest clip from the latest movie, Aliens. And it's a parody clip though. It's not an actual clip. It's them taking the piss out of aliens.
Okay. Yeah. I'd see it in passing when it was on Foxtel back in the day, but I'd never really like committed to watching it. It was just a film festival episode. And I'm like, assumed like you that he was from Springfield. And because it was Lovitz as well, and he's voiced so many characters, like the art teacher as well.
Another triumph. Yeah.
Yeah. Even a rhombus can create an adorable little bunny rabbit.
He did the director of the play that Marge was in with Ned Flanders.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, but the big one is Artie Ziff. That's the big one he does.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Artie Ziff, of course. Tell anybody about my busy hands.
Except myself.
But yeah, look, I'm keen. Like it's just anything Simpsons, I'm always going to be excited for. But I'm sounding like a bit of a hypocrite because I haven't played catch up with the latest episodes.
I don't think you have to play catch up. I think you can still be a Simpsons fan and not watch the show anymore now.
Like I just go back and watch the golden oldies. Like to me, but it's like what I do with Home Improvement and Frasier. Like it's comfort food for me.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of people have said that we go back and rewatch these shows because we know how they end.
Yes.
And we don't want to be surprised anymore. We don't want to be shocked anymore. It's like, I know how this one ends. I know I'm going to be happy at the end of it. I would rather just watch this, please.
There's enough uncertainty in the world, whereas we know exactly how these go down. And it's like an ADHD thing. You just like it. I know exactly how it's going to go down. I can fall asleep to it. I'm not going to miss a thing.
Yes. Well, I think that'll just about do it. I know you're going to get back to daddy duties. You're a new dad. I can't believe it.
I am. And like we were talking before, like eventually I'm going to be introducing my boy to all this stuff. So it's exciting.
What's the episode you feel like you're really excited to show your kids? What's the one for you that you have the most nostalgia for? Maybe?
Man, probably the Stonecutters.
Yeah?
Stonecutters. Probably Lisa on Ice as well.
My kids gravitate towards that one. They like it. Yeah. They like the ending.
Yeah. I think as well... That's hard. It's just like, you're naming your favorite movie. It's hard, but there are a few. Do It for Her.
My kids love the they call it the one where Homer gets fat.
The one where also I love the camping one where they go on the raft.
Yeah.
Godspeed
Little Doodle.
Yeah. A fine vessel she be. I'll take it.
They rewatched. My kids watched the New Kid on the Block yesterday, the one with Laura Powers, written by Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, right.
And I completely forgot that Captain McAllister wasn't a real captain. He wasn't. That was his first ever appearance.
That's right.
He wasn't intended to be a genuine sea captain, and then he just evolved into a sea captain who's just, many stories from back in the day out on the seas. And it's like, no, he was just a guy that opened up a fucking all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. That's all he was. Who pretended to be a sea captain as a gimmick. But no, they just turned him into a sea captain.
'Tis no man. 'Tis a remorseless eating machine.
Still my favorite Homer B plot of all time. That could be me.
And I love that's the same episode as well where Lionel Hutz is like, but you are the greatest hero in American history.
Yes.
Is that also when Skinner comes in and he's like, Orange Julius, and he's like, I've got one, it's half drunk. And he's like, why don't I just drink out of a toilet? And he's like, he'll be back.
He'll be back. I think it might be the one. I think where they're suing him for Mr. Burns for sexual harassment.
Oh yeah,
it might be that one. But I remember, I was in here doing some work, and Alec was out there watching New Kid on the Block, and Alec runs in and he goes, "Dad, you won't believe it. So Homer got kicked out of a place that has all you can eat, but he wasn't allowed to eat all you can eat, and it was like all fish and stuff. And when he couldn't eat any more fish, he went fishing."
See, that's cool. See, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like certain plot points that mean so much to you and I, seeing your kid's reaction. Like that's going to be like, you kind of, you're probably the same with Elliot and Holly. You kind of like waiting, like how are they going to react to certain things? And yeah, I'm excited.
I'm so glad I was able to capture on video Elliot watching the end of Empire Strikes Back for the first time, not knowing what happened.
Yeah.
Because I realized that The Simpsons spoil that. I'm so glad I showed him that, because he watched the first Star Wars about, 6 months ago, and we only watched Empire about a month ago. But had he watched The Simpsons before Empire, it would have been spoiled because Homer spoils it.
Yeah.
But just things like that, like, the Darth Vader moment and just real sort of twists and turns. It's great being able to sort of experience it with someone who has never, because everyone knows the Vader angle, but your kids don't.
No.
Why would they?
No, exactly.
So you got a lot to look forward to being a dad. It's
exciting. Seeing that penny drop with Vader and Luke, that's one for the books.
It is indeed. But thank you again, man. Plug all your socials in your new YouTube channel and whatnot before you go.
Yeah, awesome, man. So like last time I was on here, I was doing the cosplay Chris thing, but now you've got the Chris Stanley YouTube channel, which is like my main jam. So like movie reviews, entertainment news, do a lot of like coverage on screen use props. So yesterday was Texas Chainsaw Massacre Day. So I did a video covering some of the screen use props and like where are they now.
It has its own day?
Pardon?
It has its own day?
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Day was yesterday. Everything has a day.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it's Avocado Day.
Yeah. Like my wife will be like, "Oh, it's International Chocolate Mud Cake Day." I'm like, "Isn't that every day?" And then on the Instagrams it's just Chris Stanley Official, and I have an Etsy store, Props by Chris, where I do a lot of horror props. Like stuff back here is from fellow artist friends, and I love collecting their work, but I do a lot of Freddy stuff. So, and that's another thing. I got to introduce my boy to the horror stuff as well, slowly.
What's baby's first horror, like the Goosebumps TV series?
Oh God, yeah. And Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah. I think
my kids love Goosebumps. So yeah, that's a good one. Good one to start with.
Amazing.
It's been a pleasure, man. Talk to you soon.
Dando, thank you so much, mate.